Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the pre-show commentary of the United Progressive Party. My name is Jonathan Wehner, and this is
Chelsea Agarde.
And
Go ahead.
we're here, members of the Progressive Youth. We're just hosting this pre-show commentary here tonight, and we're here in the constituency of All Saints West, the lovely constituency, which will be hopefully represented by the future Honorable Anthony Smith Jr.
Yes, it needs to be represented by Anthony.
Yes,
not hopefully. Needs to be represented.
Needs to be, because the current incumbent, Mr. Michael Brown, well, he's hardly ever in the country, first of all, and not really doing much to his ministry. I think he's Minister of what? Happiness.
Oh.
Minister Education, Minister this, Minister that. No, Minister Happiness. And no happiness in this constituency, so we hope for a change, and Mr. Anthony Smith will be the right choice coming up in the next general election.
Yes, he will be. Okay.
So you might be wondering, who is the Progressive Youth? What's the Progressive Youth? What are we about? Well, the Progressive Youth was a recently formed organization, and we are the youth arm of the United Progressive Party, basically. And as members of the Progressive Youth, we'll be about, helping the youths in Antigua and Barbuda. We have some programs that we'll be implementing as time goes on. You'll hear more about it. And we have a show that should be coming on to UPP TV. That's the UPP YouTube channel and their Facebook page and Instagram and whatnot. And that the name of that show is what again, Chelsea?
All jokes aside.
All jokes aside.
Yes, it's a show where we're going to be highlighting issues that are problematic to young people and issues that young people want us to bring forward to our elders. I won't say the other word because we need to respect our elders, but yes, these are things that us as young people we need to address for our young people. So our show, which will be aired soon, is called All Jokes Aside, and it will be hosted by members of the Progressive Youth, which fall under the United Progressive Party.
Yes, so please tune in to that. That should be coming in hopefully on a Monday, but not this coming Monday, on Monday in the future, and listen out for that date. Yeah. Also, we have another show host here as well. Chelsea, tell them about your show that is so popular nowadays on UPP TV.
Okay, so you're here with Misty Blue. Hi, I'm Misty Blue. I hope you recognize me. Yes, I am a woman of many talents, and I am here representing the United Progressive Party and also the youth. Now, my show, let me not say my show, but our show for the youth is called The Right Rhythm, and it airs every Friday night on every UPP platform. So, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, it is there, right? So, our hosts are myself, Misty Blue, Chelsea Agarde, and Shugi, Kelvin, Simon. Listen, I saw custom to calling him Shugi. I almost forgot his name just now. Shugi, Kelvin, Simon, yes. So yeah, our show is The Right Rhythm, where we highlight our young entrepreneurs in the country. We highlight major accomplishments of the United Progressive Party. And it's also just a night to kick back and relax. It's Friday night. Why not tune in? If you're going out somewhere, just tune in for a little bit and kick back with some nice music with myself, Misty Blue, and the amazing Shugi.
All right, yes. But don't forget about our show, The Progressive Youth, coming up, All Jokes Aside. You don't get too involved with The Right Rhythm and you forget about All Jokes Aside, please. So make sure you're tuning in to hear the youths talk about the pressing issues of this country that really need to be dealt with, because this government has been really failing. For the past 8 years in dealing with issues, it's been horrible. So we can start to get into some of those issues right now. So the first thing we can start with that is troubling everybody, from old to young to just born to middle age to high school to whatever you do, water. I can't get no water in our pipe.
No water.
No water in the pipe. Some people, Chelsea, for weeks, they'll catch water in a bath and they throw up water in the man. That can't right.
No.
That can't right.
And when people have to catch water and hold water in the bucket for so long, mosquito and all them things go breathe in your water. You have to bathe with that nasty water they have to catch and keep there for days. Like, How is that sanitary? How? You wouldn't want to go home and have to dip up water from a dirty bucket or a dirty drum to go bathe your skin. So why are you doing that to the people of Antigua and Barbuda?
Yep.
Why? Why is that happening?
And remember, guys, we can't forget that this government made certain promises in the last 2014 election. They promised us, one of their campaign slogans was they would fix the water problem in 14 days. 14 days, people. Don't forget that, 14 days. They said they had the experience, the knowledge, the know-how. As soon as they get in, they're going to fix the water problem in 14 days. This UPP government, they said, was slacking off the people. And I think Mr. Robin Yearwood, he said that what kind of government is it that your granny can't bathe or whatever,
And your papi can't
Your papi
bathe.
can't bathe.
But
All that
granny and papi
foolishness.
still can't bathe now. And how long it been? What, I want to say 8 years. Cause
It's
it feel
been-
like that. It
It
feel like
feels
it's been that long.
it's been longer than 8 years, but up to now, after the 14 days of the come and gone about 1,000 times, we still can't get water in this country. And now they come up with the excuse about all kind of things and they're going to solve this, they're going to solve that. They've been saying they're going to solve things for a long time. So it's time for us to get a change and for you to choose the right team, the team to redeem, led by the political leader, Mr. Harold Lovell, and
Yes.
to put the United Progressive Party as the next government in power in this country.
Yes, and to continue piggybacking off of what you just said, they're talking about what they're going to fix. You know what they're doing? They're just highlighting the problems that we have that the United Progressive Party is going to fix. Simple. They're highlighting the issues, and the United Progressive Party is going to fix those issues.
Yep.
That's basically what they're doing. They're just leading the road right to us. They're on the right path to the right government that's going to fix it. So thank you for highlighting the issues. We'll take care. We'll take care of it from here. Thank you.
And the way that the UPP has outlined that they will take care of this water situation is one of the first things the UPP has promised to do is to cut off all taxes on water supplies like water storage tanks, anything to do with water that imported into the country to help the local citizens with storing water, whether it be low-income households or low-income businesses. You know, the UPP has pledged that they will take off the taxes off of that importation of water supplies. So, and the government here already seeing them saying, oh, we're looking to do that, we're looking to do that. They're just trying to cog our ideas. So they see the problems, they don't have no ideas to address the problems. And these are some old renegades, as Mr. Knight would say, one of my favorite radio station men. Some old renegades there in the government who don't have no ideas. And as soon as the UPP come and talks about an idea,
They're ready to jump on it. Yeah,
They're ready to jump on
like
it.
we did it. No, top. Simon says, man, stop it.
Yeah,
Stop it.
yeah. And also, not only just taking off the taxes off of any water storage imports into the country, the UPP has also pledged to help with storage tanks, providing those storage tanks themselves in terms of loans for low-income households as well. Easy to get loans at low interest rates. And also, you know, just to help the people to fix their water problem. And we understand that the water issue is not something that can be fixed overnight, in 14 days, in 1 year. It's a really bad situation in Antigua.
Yes,
some
it is.
some,
Yes,
some
it is.
situations, the pipes need to be replaced. All kind of things need to be done. Maybe more osmosis plants need to be installed and all kind of things. But we just need to have a government that, you know, pledges to put the people first, that pledges to take care of the country and not just make promises so they can get into power, and when they get into power, to thief the resources of the country for themselves. So
Oh my.
that's why we need to use the United Progressive Party in the next general election coming up.
Yes, we really need to, because if we want to see progressive movements in terms of taking care of our citizens and ensuring that the plans that we have put forward, it benefits our citizens and not just benefit our pockets, then we need to go with the United Progressive Party, because as my partner here has highlighted, they have many initiatives from the 2018 manifesto that
Even
are
that, yes.
really, really important, and we need to highlight them tonight. We're going to speak about them tonight, right?
Yeah,
We're
different
we're
things
gonna
as much
mention
as
them
time
tonight.
permits. Yeah.
So yes, stay tuned with us, you know, keep locked with us tonight. We're going to be highlighting a lot more tonight.
Definitely. So it's not just water that is plaguing people right now, you know. It's not just water, which, by the way, I didn't bring that up when we were talking about it earlier, but I noticed that even though sometimes AP will say the water is on, but we seem to have situations in different parts of the country where there's a low pressure in the pipes and people aren't really getting water that they need, but they're still paying the full water bill, as if the water is running strong. That can't work. That is robbing the people. You can't rob people of their hard-earned money, especially in these COVID times. Even though we're coming out of it, people still have the financial situation. It's very difficult for them. And for you to take advantage of the situation where you're not really providing the water that they need, but you're still charging the same rates, that can't work. That can't work. So that needs to be fixed on the government side.
Yes, that really needs to be fixed, because if we're not using the water, why are we paying for something we're not using? That doesn't make sense. There's no water coming out the pipe, so why people bill coming $400, $500, $600 a month, even above, and they're not using the water? No, that's greed. That's greed right there.
Yes. Also, the Prime Minister, I would have heard him on the radio. He was saying some words defect. I don't really pay attention like that much to him because he just chat a bunch of stupidness. But anyway, he was saying words defect that he's not sure that the government is totally to blame with the water situation. That people themselves need to conserve water, and that probably they should be looking to increase the water price rate or something like that because to force people to conserve water more. That is not his priority. He did this again with the stimulus package saying that, the mothers will use it to fix their hair and nails. He's out of place.
Out of place.
He passed his place. You can't tell me that every single working mother, whether they're single or whatever, and they have a financial situation that they're going to put their nails and hair ahead of their own children. That is not how Antiguan people are. That is not how we are. We in this country, we help our families, and we try to sort ourselves out. So it's not up to the government to decide what people should do with the resources. It's their job as a government to make sure the resources are available.
Yes.
And the people can use the resources as they see fit.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. The resources need to be there first. You can't tell people how to use their money. If they're working for their money, they want to get their hair and their nails done. That's not your business. As long as they're taking care of what they need to take care of, and you are ensuring that they have what they need to have, they're supposed to have as one of the foundations of survival in life. You need water, you need to make sure you have food on the table, you need clothes, you need shelter. You need to make sure that your people have all of this. And for you to be on Facebook and all over the place chatting all these nonsense about mothers going to get their hair done. So where they get their hair done? If their children eating, that's not your business. What you're supposed to be worried about is ensuring that they have what they need in place to take care of their children and to maintain their family and themselves. Whatever beyond that has nothing to do with you. And it's very disappointing to see someone of that age and that stature on social media talking about these things. That's not something that's bothering the nation. We need water. That's something you need to go on there and talk about. Go and talk about, okay, we can turn on the pipes 24 hours a day. Not, mommy, go do her nails and her hairs. Jonathan, let's move on, Jack.
No, we can't move on, because the people have to understand how egregious the situation is. Because in light of all that you just said, we're providing the resources that the people need to have a sustainable, healthy, prosperous way of living. That this Prime Minister still comes out and says, refuse to give you a stimulus to help you. Even if it's just a little thing, he refuses to give you. He's coming out and saying in recent times, maybe we should raise the price of water to discourage people from wasting water. It is your job, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Gaston Brown. It is your job to ensure that your citizens have the wherewithal to live peaceably and in a happy manner. Apparently now we have a Ministry of Happiness or something like that. Please put that non-working minister to do something and make sure the people have some kind of joy to do about themselves.
Yeah, maybe the happiness minister needs to step up in his ministry and make sure people are happy.
But he won't be minister for too long because we in this constituency, Mr. Anthony Smith will be
Jr.
Hopefully taking out Mr. Michael Brown from his seat.
I tell you, stop saying that word. No, it's not hopefully. He will.
Well, all right. We'll speak it into existence.
Exactly. All right.
And talking about water, you see how prices are crazy in Antigua. We're talking about water, how water is high. We're talking about how COVID times were hard. Now we're talking about gas prices now. We understand that we as Antigua and Barbuda, the government doesn't have control of how the crude oil prices fluctuate on the global markets. We understand that. We don't blame any government for things like that. But when the government would have been making a ridiculous amount of money on consumption tax and the gas price at the pump, over all the past how many ever years you were in government, also the government would have acquired some shares in West Indies oil. So not only the consumption tax, but they would have been making money from West Indies oil as well too. You could have at least, while the people are still reeling, just because the place aren't open up doesn't mean people are not still hurting from COVID. While people are still even hurting from that, you could take some of the prices down or subsidize the prices for the people so we're not suffering just to go here and there. And that also affects the youth, because we know that youths in this country, we don't make a lot of money yet because we don't have all the qualifications we need. We're still working it to do our jobs and whatnot. So most of the times we have part-time jobs or jobs at a minimum wage. And for us to be spending so much money on gas. If for those of us who are privileged to have cars, spending so much money on gas, be traveling to and fro, And then the money that we spend on gas basically is half of the pay that we would have made in the week. That can't work.
Yeah, I just put $40 gas in my car.
$40 gas, where did I put you? Quarter? What is this?
I wish you put me quarter.
$40 gas, that's nothing.
And I had to drive from point A to point B. And by the time I reach point B, my gas light on. It's like they put up the price and then change the quality of the gas too. Because the gas just disappear.
Maybe this government likes to create a bunch of ministries. Maybe we need a ministry of pushing. So when people out to gas, there are people on the side.
Yeah, on the side of the road, on
push
some
the car
tents.
for go when they need for go.
Yeah, on the sun, just waiting for us. Oh, you need a push. All right, we coming. Push.
Ministry of pushing. Mr. Gaston, I give you an idea. Ministry of pushing. Push some cars.
Well,
Anyway, the government needs to look into freezing the gas price at least. And the government can afford, because this government has been making, this government, for the past years, has made more money in revenue than any other government in the history of this country. This government can afford to subsidize the gas price for its citizens so we're not hurting so much. It's ridiculous. The Prime Minister can't just come out and tell us, oh, we're not going to reduce the gas price. For what reason? And then, if people would have noticed as well, the Prime Minister did not reduce the gas price. He came out and said the gas price is not lowering. Even after the new increased supply of gas didn't even arrive in the country yet. So what happened to the gas that we have in storage? All that just increased by itself. We would have bought that gas at a reduced rate.
Yes.
But you can still sell it at the heightened rate. Mr. Prime Minister, we're not fools in this country. You can't fool us. We're the stupid people. And I find it very hard that this Prime Minister, knowing the background he would have had, the struggles that he would have, had to get where he is right now.
Yes, put his people in during the same struggle. The
same struggle. I would have thought that him going through his afflictions, his tribulations, his trials would have, had a sympathetic heart to the people who are going through the same thing and try to do. But no, it seems to be a creatively enriching yourself agenda for this Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party administration.
Yeah, only them get to eat.
Well, he said it himself. Find ways to creatively enrich yourselves. He said it to his ministers, and I'm sure it's all anyway.
Well, he certainly is enriching himself right now because.
Yeah.
John. Anyways, John, I have to behave myself, right?
This Prime Minister, he needs to go, people. Mr. Harold Lovell, the political leader of the United Progressive Party, he's the right choice. He has the ideas, which the government seem to cog a lot, and you need to elect a change in this country. We cannot continue the way that this government is taking us down. It is a perilous path, and it's a slippery slope. Do not embolden them in their lies, in their mismanagement, in their corruption. We cannot say that doesn't affect us, because it is our future, it's our children's future that we need to take care of and get this government out of office.
And that leads us into another talking point. They're like, oh, so why young people don't get involved? Where was the path for us to get involved? Where were the opportunities for us to get involved? And that's why we're here now.
Yes.
That's why we're here, because the decisions that are being made now are going to affect us when we, when we're of that age and, in that position, where it's going to be affecting us as young people. And that's why we're here, because these are things that we need to address as young people.
And yes, and why is it important? Why is it important for us to be involved in politics? So even if you're not, in front of a camera, behind a mic, even if you're not out in the streets, why is it important for you to pay attention, for you to vote, to use your franchise, exercise that franchise? Because politics is in every part of your life. If you want to go and buy your loaf of bread for under $5, that's somewhere on the line that comes down to politics. If you want to go and have a fete somewhere down the line that comes down to politics. If you want to praise your God freely, somewhere down the line that comes down to politics. If you want to have a scholarship opportunity to go and do some career path, somewhere down the line that comes down to politics. If you want to go and buy a house, rent a house, if you want to go buy a piece of land, that comes down to politics again. Every decision that this government makes, that any government makes, directly affects the youths of every country. So as youths, we are not just, foolish people and sitting by and just watching our futures pass us by. We are deciding that we're going to stand up, that we're going to be part of the change that will sweep this country, and we're going to involve ourselves. Because politics is not just some people in suits in a parliament debating foolishness. It involves all of us. It involves matters. For example, the gas price that we just talked about, the cost of living, the water situation, all that is politics. It involves all of us, and we need to be involved in the matters of not just our future, but our current affairs.
Yes.
And look for change and look for something better, which the United Progressive Party and its Redeem team will help to provide. in the next upcoming general election.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will.
And also, speaking of, mentioned COVID in passing. Yes, you want to forget about it. It's been, I think, about 3 years coming up now. COVID has been around.
It's been 2 years. Cause it started in March. I think it was March 3rd.
March 2019, I think. Yes, 2019.
Yeah.
And in this time, how has COVID affected the youths in this country? A big area that COVID has affected us is our education. First of all, I do not want to bash the public school teachers or the teachers of private schools, whatever it is. The teachers are one of the most hard-working people of this country. The teachers are some of the most hard-working people in this country. They try their best to help the students across the board. But we do not have the resources that are pumped into the Ministry of Education sufficient to help all the children across the schools. And in this COVID time, during this online learning, parents can attest to it. Doesn't matter if you're red, blue, orange, white, green, no matter what it is. You can attest that your children, at some point in time during this COVID, have been failed by the educational system of this country. And the government did not do enough to help to solve that problem. And before we get into that as well, too, the government would have thrown away millions of dollars into the e-books, right? The e-books that are not working.
The door stoppers.
The door stoppers, as they call them. These e-books don't have any information on them. They're useless. And especially in the time of COVID, when you're doing online learning, you could have seen the benefit. Even if it show you money, at least if the things are working properly, the teachers could have used the e-books for the help in the online learning.
Yes, and as a teacher, I resonate with this. I resonate with that point. When it came to the e-books, like, you could barely reach your students. For me, I had to be calling them personally and say, hey, I need y'all to complete this. I need to have a meeting with y'all. I need to have class with y'all. I need to meet y'all. Like, we shouldn't be doing that. And then at the end of it, now you're hearing teachers being blamed because they're not doing enough. Teachers did quite a lot. When they talk about frontline workers, they only mention like police officers, nurses, doctors. And I give my kudos to them. Yes, you guys have done an amazing job.
Yes.
Tip my hat off to y'all. But what happened to teachers? Teachers been doing twice as much work as, well, let me not say twice as much. But we've been doing just as much work as well. And the ebook situation was so disappointing because we could have installed a program even if, like, we had, issues with internet, whatever. It could be like a weekly thing where you could upload study notes or something to the kids, and they would have been able to use these notes to, at least read and learn something. Like, we could have done something better with them ebooks, man. I have students that, it's tough thinking about it. Makes me like emotional because we failed our students a lot these past 3 years, 2 years. We did fail them, and not we. I'm gonna say we. The person who decided about this door stopper, we failed them with that.
The same incumbent for this constituency. That is another reason why he needs to be voted out of office. He would have failed all the children in this country with his failed ebooks program, which has thrown millions of dollars, which again, everything in politics links together. That same millions of dollars could have helped to give people stimulus. That same millions of dollars could have helped go into government coffers. So now we have a situation with gas prices rising. The government still has something in the bank, so they can take the hit into the citizens who are working from paycheck to paycheck, taking the gas price hit, and we can't continue like this in this country.
Exactly.
The e-books is a failure. This incumbent in this constituency is a failure. I need to vote him out.
They could have used that money as well. They know some students don't have internet. Put like a main internet supply somewhere in the constituent, in their village. I mean, somewhere where they will be able to go and sit down and say, okay, we can't, go to school right now to have classes. At least there's one spot in that village where we can get internet, or even on the streets. Go outside on your veranda, you pick up free Wi-Fi. You're able to sit down and like have class with the teacher. Use the e-book and get your work on the e-book. Like, so much could have been done with that. Even like we don't even have the qualifications to sit down and make these plans, but we here talking more sense than the people.
It just shows you that if you care about people, it's not always about if you have qualifications, because you can have educated criminals. The best kind of criminals are the educated ones that get away. The educated criminals. If you care about people, you get what you need to get done. Also, you spoke about internet and stuff. Internet is such an appalling thing. So even if the ebooks, let's say the ebooks thing did work out, the internet is so bad you can't rely on it.
Exactly.
But remember, the UPP, back in their administration, they would have introduced the Gates program,
Yes.
which was a part of putting buses outfitted with internet connections, moving throughout the constituencies and providing different constituencies with internet.
Yes.
And you see how you plan for the future. This party plans for the future, put things in place.
Okay.
So we'll have a break now, and we'll come back and we'll talk some more. Again, this is the rally for the constituency of All Saints West and the SeaView Farm playing field. And remember, Anthony Smith Jr., the right choice.
The right choice. We'll be right back.
Choice for UPP, showing stability. For UPP, you love your country.
It's time to join the family at the People's Cooperative Credit Union Limited. We offer savings accounts, deposits, fixed deposits, loans, among other related services. You can even become a shareholder by purchasing a minimum of 50 shares at $5 per share. Membership is super easy and convenient. Just visit our newly opened credit union building on Upper Newgate Street, Monday to Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. with proof of ID and address, along with $15 to cover registration and passbook. And you'll be set and on your way. For further information, call 462-8888 or 727-2285. People's Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Today, tomorrow, together.
We come and vote them out. 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 We gonna vote them out. We come and 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 vote them out.
First, he gassed us. Then, he lied to us.
We have made it abundantly clear that no one, absolutely no one in our country will be vaccinated if they do not wish to be. We uphold that right and respect it.
Can we really trust him not to implement mandates for children aged 5 to 11? Vote them out!
Pre-show commentary. My name is Jonathan Wehner. We're here at the UPP rally, which is about to start at 7 p.m. This is in the constituency of All Saints West. The candidate, Mr. Anthony Smith Jr.
Yes.
will be running on the Redeem Team's ticket to take out the failing, the struggling, the disappearing, the do-nothing. I have some other adjectives, but I'll leave that alone. Mr. Michael Brown. So, yes. Chelsea, this is Chelsea Agarde along with me, and we're here. We're members of the Progressive Youth. That is the youth arm of the United Progressive Party. We're your host for tonight. We're back from our break. And just to answer some more questions about Progressive Youth, if you're wondering what Progressive Youth is, it was recently formed as the youth arm of the party, and it's going to be about youths who are taking part in trying to make a change in this country. It's not necessarily just pushing politics or pushing something. We're going to be talking about issues that affect the youth of this nation. And you should tune into our show, All Jokes Aside. That's All Jokes Aside. We'll be premiering on UPP TV. That's on our Facebook page and our YouTube page. And it should be coming up on in about 2 weeks, tentative date there also. So you should tune in for more information for that and to listen to the youths talk about pressing issues in the country. And I believe our first topic would be the gas price situation and the cost of living, which is affecting everyone. It's not just parents and families and older people who have to do with cost of living. Young people have to do with cost of living too. Remember, young people who are here. Young people doesn't just mean teenage, Youth, it means from when you're born to when you're about 35. That's a legal youth in Antigua and Barbuda.
Above. and above.
35 and above.
If you consider yourself a youth,
No, not
you
legally,
are a
not
youth.
legally, not legally. Legally, it's cut off at 35. So those people who think they're young, they're not really young. But anyway.
No, I support those who think they're young, eh? Nobody got trust stones at me.
Alright, you can
We
throw the
are
stones
young
at me then.
alike.
I can throw the stones at me then.
But yes, those who from birth to about 35.
35.
That's the youths in our country. And as Jonathan highlighted, our show is going to be speaking about things that affect youth. And two things that we're going to highlight in the first episode will be cost of living, gas prices, as he mentioned. But we have other deeper issues like mental health
that's been
and
coming up.
career
Path
and
guidance, yes.
yeah, coaching. Like we need, our
In sports, yes. The help more coaching in the sports industry, and I think we're talking about more for the entrepreneurs.
Yes, entrepreneurs as well. We need like our older generation can team up with our young people because our young people are our future. So we need our older, generation, our elders, to team up with our youth so that we can have, a stronger foundation when it comes to our youths in business. So we need a lot more coaching opportunities for our young people. We need to ensure our young people are set. So this is why, our program came about, our group Progressive Youth, we came about so that we can, highlight these issues, and so that not just to highlight them, but also to provide solutions and, allow the United Progressive Party and others to make a path for our young people.
Yes, and we just want to give out some shout outs to Mr. Gishan Powell, who will be helping out.
Ayana Baptist, love you.
Our Chelsea is here, and some others who will be hearing more about in the future, who are helping to spearhead this thing. We have our own executives who will be coming up with our own agendas, and we're going to be pushing, not just to talk about the topics, but to look at plans of implementation for the topics we speak about. For example, we would have made a donation to a mental health institution.
Yes,
some toiletries, I believe, to help out those who are mentally ill, and it's just not just words we're talking about, and that donation is going to be a yearly thing.
Yes.
So as we talk about our topics, we're going to look at programs that we can start to help our youths, help them out in this country.
Yes, and not just, these programs are not just going to be for show, because I believe that our program is going to be just more than just show. We don't want young people to just come out and vote. We need young people to be more active in, your society. As a citizen, you should be participating. We should be participating more. Let me not say you. We should be participating more, because sometimes I feel like I can do more. Although I'm doing a lot, I feel like I'm doing just a little bit, but sometimes, I try to encourage our young people. We need to encourage our young people some more. We're sitting here, we can reach out to them. Y'all come out, do we all have to do? We just want to, shout out those who are on live with us right now on Facebook. Share the live, share it with your friends, share it with your co-workers, share it anywhere. Random group chat, put it in there and say, come tune in and listen to what we have to say, because we're not just talking about nonsense. We're talking about things that, will benefit us in near and the future,
And also with youths getting involved in not necessarily just politics, but issues that affect your day-to-day life. We need to stop looking at it as youths in general. We need to stop looking at it as, the politicians are talking, the adults are talking, this. We need to take responsibility of our own parts, of our own futures, and take responsibility for what we want to do with our lives and what the changes we want to see being made. We can't just always sit around and wait for someone else to make the change. Sometimes, even if you're not out there, like I said before, if you're not in front of a camera, behind a mic, at least you are doing the things in your private life to help progress your country, progress your family, progress yourself, even. To make yourself have a better future, a better tomorrow. So, and remember, the UPP Redeem team will help you to make that better future. So you should be voting for them in the next upcoming general election.
Okay, yes, true.
Yes. Also, we're talking about education just before we went off on the break.
Yes.
And we're talking about how, the
GATE
e-books,
program.
E-books would have failed, and the GATE program, the UPP would have implemented, that would have, provided as well the internet in the different communities. And how the government right now, the internet is very unreliable. Electricity is very unreliable. All utilities are very unreliable. Water, electricity, internet, everything is unreliable. And it's just a very sad state of affairs in our country.
Yes, and the GATE program, initially when, it came around, it benefited a lot of, not just young people in general, but a lot of students. Because at the time when, these internet buses and so on was coming around, I was in school. And I benefited from that because in the community that I grew up in, we didn't really have internet like free internet access.
Yeah.
So for young people who have been in school, we didn't really have access to internet where we needed to complete assignments, even if it was just young people don't just use internet for schoolwork. But that's what we're going to be just speaking about tonight. When they introduced the computer centers.
Yeah.
Yes, and computer buses and all of that. When they introduced all of that, it really, really, really and truly did help the young people. I can attest to that because I was in school at the time. And when I was in school, as I stated, I know people who didn't have internet, people who didn't have access to internet, and that benefited them. They were able to go through school without even thinking about it because that wasn't a worry for them because it was already there. I remember earlier we mentioned that as long as there are things set in place for these people to strive, then we don't need to worry about what they're doing outside of that. And that has shown that United Progressive Party will put things in place to ensure that our people, longevity of our people,
And not just only the gate program the United Progressive Party would have implemented to benefit youth in their last administration. Also, people just take it for granted now that you have a school meals program, by the way, which has gone by the wayside. I should just say that. But the UPP would have implemented the school meals program. We just pass over these things like, oh, it's just there and we take it for granted. You need to remember who would have done these things for you. The UPP did the school meals program. The UPP would have done the uniform grants and vouchers.
Well.
The UPP would have implemented more scholarships and things like that for the young people. So we need to remember they would have built different secondary schools and stuff. They would have done such a fine job with the Five Islands campus, which was really meant for that community, that the government said, wow, what's a facility? We should use it for college. So you see, it's a testament to the workings of the United Progressive Party. So UP has done to the best of their ability, try to help the young people in this country. And honestly, we're sitting down here just off the top of our heads can point to different programs and social programs that the UPP would have implemented for young people. But can you, sitting down at home, point to, let's say 2 or 1? I'm trying to think that the Labour Party would have done to help the young people in our country.
Free FET
doesn't really help our young people. I can't think of anything that the Labour Party would have done and set in place and maintain for the future, even if they come out of government, that would help the young people. You can't think of anything, but the UPP would have done so many things for our young people.
Yes, and you jumped over a very important initiative.
Which one?
Too quick, school meals, because we know even now, as you said, cost of living going up. Parents nowadays sometimes can't provide 3 full meals for their children. So if you can provide 2 at home and they get 1 at school, that's a win-win for everybody right there. Our students are able to,
even if you provide 1 at home, 1 at school, you miss breakfast or dinner, something.
Yeah, you have lunch.
Really struggling.
Yeah.
You have lunch at school and you have a meal at home. But you see, this is what I don't understand. Gaston Brown so many times in the public would have said that we are an economic powerhouse in Antigua and Barbuda. If we're an economic powerhouse, if we are ready to take his words at face value, why is it that a rich, economically prosperous country cannot provide proper meals for its children in schools, cannot provide for those who are struggling at homes to help them during a pandemic? Why is it that a prosperous economic government, powerful government, cannot take the hit of this rising gas prices? Why is it that the government needs to be raising taxes on the rates of social security and all those kind of things? The government needs to step up.
Because cabinet salary need for increase.
Oh.
So I have to tax the poor people in order for them to get the extra money. Let me speak properly. They have to tax the poor people so they can get a raise in their salary. That's the plan. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Instead of ensuring, as you said, that the young people have their food and have whatever they need to have at home during COVID, they decide to tax.
Yep.
Increase this and increase that so that they can benefit from whatever increases that have been made while the poor people become poorer and still suffer.
Yeah. And I find it very troubling that on the Prime Minister's mind, it would even cross his mind. I don't care on the timeline that he says he wants implemented, but the fact that you would have mentioned during increased cost of living, during a pandemic where people are struggling, where people are losing their jobs, where people have mental depression because of the situations they're facing, why is that you would mention that ministers of parliament need to get an increase in salary? A base salary for ministers of parliament is $10,000 a month.
A month.
That's a base salary. How much people in Antigua and Barbuda make $10,000 a month? But you, Mr. Prime Minister, want to increase. Look at increasing their
month?
water rates.
3 months minimum wage. Nobody minimum wage make $10,000 in 3 months.
Exactly.
Or 2 months. That's
and
ridiculous.
teachers who make about sometimes $2,000, $3,000. If you're doing fantastic, you're doing good. If you're a teacher and making $4,000 a month, and you're talking about increasing ministers of parliament salaries when there are other civil servants, not just teachers, across about firefighters, policemen, nurses who struggle for back pay and all kind of things. The late workers, they're struggling to get their salary. They're struggling to get money that is owed for them for overtime. The ABS people would have just come out and protested for overtime, for working holidays and stuff. You can't pay them. But you, Mr. Prime Minister, you didn't mention them, forget to raise or to pay off their overtime that is due to them. You're talking about increasing on a $10,000 base salary, and you would get other like a housing grants benefits, plus some of them who have different members in their family in parliament, so the 10,000 times 2 times how much ever
3 and 4
rent and all kind of stories, and you're talking about increasing salary. Come on, man, Mr. Prime Minister, that is not acceptable.
Yeah, where's your hat, man?
That is not acceptable. That is not appropriate, and there was no time. There was no time for that. That was not necessary. Also, we're going to talk about bringing back young people again. And it also has to do with education, but it's talking about career guidance. And when I say career guidance, in Antigua and Barbuda, we do not have a system where young people in secondary schools, even let's say like in a modern country, you can go online and you can type up, okay, what jobs are needed in Antigua and Barbuda?
Antigua and Barbuda, yeah.
Where is the need? How many? What is the number of people that are needed in the tourism sector for this or that? How many number of accountants are needed for this or that? What trade skills are needed? What is low? What areas, what fields, what industries need workers? We don't have that information in Antigua and Barbuda. So most of the times people just go off and study basic things like business administration or different kind of things where the need isn't really there. And there's no lawyers, basic things, that the youths don't have a really informed decision. And there are many youths who go and study and have their qualifications, they come back, they can't find work, and they go and travel to countries who really don't need them because they have so much money, those countries, and they have so many other professionals. And we here, we stay and stuff, and we don't have different things, even in the medical field. I mean, people can attest that in certain specializations, there's only like one person.
Yeah, I think we only have one doctor in oncology here at the hospital, one or two.
Many various things that even the different ministries, even if it's not a general overview, we have a general system, but even the different ministries can look at the industries within that ministry and say, okay, we need this, and this. In the Ministry of Health, we need this doctor with this specialization. So if you're going to study medicine, wherever you're going, we're giving scholarships to people who are studying this and this. And you can guide the people to where they're needed and where they can find jobs.
But that's where our show, our thing come in, our program come in,
all
because
jokes aside,
all jokes aside, we will be helping young people
talking about those
the
issues.
Appropriate jobs for themselves, not just to come back to Antigua and be a cashier. Or no offense, but it's serious. They go away and study, come back with such a important degree, and then when they come back to Antigua, they do nothing but being a cashier or working as a sales clerk because they can't find work, because there are too many people here in Antigua, for instance, may have a degree in accounting or business management or something of the sort, and we need jobs in maybe oncology. As a doctor, as I said, a doctor, we need oncologists, we need people in our cancer center. We need our people in our cancer center. Yes, we need our people there, not people they bring from outside because they want them to work in our facility. We need to ensure that our young people have these opportunities, and that's where our show come in. We'll be applying our not our knowledge, but from statistics and from our research, the jobs that are needed in Antigua.
And we'll even have professionals there as well to help with the discussion.
Every week we'll have a professional from the field in which we're speaking on our topic. We'll have our professionals there to help guide our young people. And since you said education is very important to me, very, very, not just, it shouldn't just be important to me, for everybody too. So we need to ensure that our young people have someone there that will guide them, not mommy and daddy say, oh, go ahead and go be a doctor, go be a lawyer, go be a nurse, go be whatever. No, they need a job. We need people here to work, send them to study this, They come back, they make good money, take care of their family, take care of themselves.
Yep. And even in the trade skills area, we need to have more opportunities available for youths where they can say, okay, I want to get involved in carpentry or different things.
Yeah.
They have an opportunity where they can look up and see, this is needed in this specific trade skill. Okay, I'm needed here. I can go and study this apprenticeship. But anyway, you should tune into All Jokes Aside, because we'll also not be discussing the topics. We'll be coming up with plans and solutions to help the issues that we need to be solving in this country. And the United Progressive Party, we are a party of ideas. As this government is always looking to take the ideas and manifest the promises of this party. But we'll be looking for things to implement.
Yeah, as you mentioned just now, we were just having a conversation earlier with someone that was saying that, you know, with the architect, you know, people who will go away and will have the degree as an architecture. But the people who do all the hard work,
the foremen,
they're seen
workers,
as the bottom of the barrel, when it should not be so. They should all be, not even if not on the same level, just below.
There shouldn't be such a great disparity between the two values of those kind of jobs. And I understand your point. Your point is very well taken.
Yeah.
And in Antigua, we need to really, even in the maritime field, we don't have a lot of people who specialize in anything maritime really, or have the qualifications for it. And it's an area that we really should be taking advantage of, but we are not, because, you know, the importance of the maritime industry for us. But yes, so career guidance is something that we need in this country, and that we don't have for young people.
Our show will provide that for our young people.
Yes. Also. So what about youths in business entrepreneurs, young people who are, you know, getting involved in that kind of stuff? I would have noticed that the Prime Minister would have incorporated a new tax on small businesses, the unincorporated business tax.
Oh, Lord.
And he's always talking about he's trying to find and help the poor people, you know, and reduce taxes for them, but he would introduce a new tax on that. So that doesn't really help the youths in business.
No.
And
continue. I was just agreeing. Like, no, it doesn't really help.
Yeah, and the United Progressive Party would have introduced the YEP program, which I think it's called, which will help to guide young entrepreneurs and provide them with the funds that they need, the guidance that they need in their, you know, startup stages, even if it is loans that are required, to help them to start up their small businesses and to help to grow their businesses. So that's another thing that is another failing of this government. When we really look to see the programs that this government would have implemented to help people, you'll really struggle to find them, and then specifically to help young people. It seems like, I must say, based upon their actions, they don't seem to care about the development, the well-being, and the future of the youth in this country.
Yeah, not just development, but exposure as well. Like, we need to have. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and he's a young person just like us, and he's planning to have something called Wadadli Key. And I give shout outs to him, Michael. He's planning to make a book, or like a page where people can contact young people for certain jobs. You need someone to cut your yard, you call John Doe, and he will come and cut your yard for whatever amount, you know?
It sounds like a Craigslist or something like that.
Well,
we need some of those things in Antigua, actually, to be honest. It would make things a lot more convenient for people.
Yes, and even like on the right rhythm. Every Friday night we have an entrepreneur section where we give our young people
the exposure that they need.
Yes, the exposure that they need. Last week we had, I don't want to butcher nobody's name, right? Well, we had that young man with the oils and the massage and the therapy with the oils and stuff. Oh, okay. I got a massage last week, and I had this knot in my shoulder, and for the whole week I just feel so good. I felt so good. We need to, give our young people more exposure. We need people to do certain things. Yes, our, elders, thank you for all your hard work, but it's our time now. Allow young people to get a taste of the cake too, and a piece of the cake. On the right rhythm, we always give them an opportunity to come and showcase their business. Before we had Carol with his drinks. We need to move into the industry. We need to
diversify our economy.
Yes, not just you want somebody for business, whatever. We have people who can cook. We have people who can make their own drinks. We have people who are good with their hands. We just need to give our young people the exposure that they need.
Speaking about diversifying the economy, United Progressive Party in the last couple of years would have come up with the biggest revenue earner this government would have seen, that any Antiguan government would have seen, in terms of something different from tourism. And of course I'm talking about the CIP program.
CIP, yes.
And at first the Labour Party was very against. If you remember, those members in Parliament, it was a big uproar against the United Progressive Party. Oh, they send our passports, da 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 da. But now, this Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, they rely
On the CIP
if
program.
the CIP money
Crash.
come in, the bread, the butter, the cheese can't come, the salami can't come in, the chicken sausage, that's how we would call it. It can't
No,
come
the
in.
ham. They don't eat poor people food.
The government relies on the CIP program, and again, I've said it throughout the night before. The United Progressive Party is a party of ideas. They would have brought in the CIP program. They would have had a different vision for how it would have been implemented in terms of its integrity and its running and vetting people who would be, recipients of our passport, which unfortunately is now, the program itself is now under threat by the European Union. But that is a topic for another time. But the government relies again and again
on the
programs
Yep.
implemented by the United Progressive Party throughout their tenure in government. Even back in the PLM days when the PLM themselves introduced the LIAT idea. The LIAT idea. This government are just throwing everything to the wayside. So, So even in agriculture, I just remember agriculture now. This agriculture is not taken seriously because you would have put a minister right over there from St. George, which Miss Brother Watts is going to, take him out of his seat in the next current election. Mr. Dean Jonas, as a Minister of Agriculture, was a failure. A failure. And this is not a failure in the estimation of the United Progressive Party. It's a failure in the estimation of Mr. Gaston Brown, because the Prime Minister himself would have fired Mr. Dean Jonas from the Ministry of Agriculture in disgrace. In disgrace, I might add. It's not because he's moving him around his portfolio. Dean Jonas was viewed to be a failure in agriculture, and he had to be moved. And it was just a total mismanagement of that ministry, and that ministry has gone nowhere under the guidance of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. So the farmers need to look out for future promises that will be coming up, and future plans that the United Progressive Party will implement once they take the government. And you need to tune in to the rallies that are coming in and the manifesto, which will be coming out shortly, on the plans that the United Progressive Party has for agriculture in this country, which is a very important industry, because we as a country need to look towards becoming we need to look to securing our food security.
Yes.
Because even with the cost of living, in Ukraine is a big provider of wheat in the world. So that would help to increase the cost of living as well, when major suppliers of different things that you need for food are
cut off because of the whole issue.
We need to stop just relying on all the countries to bring in our import our supplies that we need for daily living. We need to prop up our local farmers. We need to, support them, give them support, buy their products, and not just have people like the Prime Minister getting into competition with the local people.
Exactly. What you said that the Prime Minister said before, we have to find ways
to creatively enrich ourselves.
But what has he done to creatively?
You're on the ball. You're on the ball.
Yes.
You're on the ball.
That's our show.
I don't have no issue with people getting into business, right? But do not come in and take advantage of a situation where you have previous. You see, in different countries, this would be a crime, because you can't have previous knowledge of a field of something and then go and take advantage with that knowledge. When you need to be propping up the local farmers, giving them support, not be criticizing people for how they're struggling with their farms, when you have made it so difficult for them to struggle because they can't have water to water their place, they can't have supplies, things are so expensive. So you need to support your local farmers, and it's very important that we, as much as possible, provide for our own food security in this country. And we can see from current events, that we can't rely on the importation of different things from other countries. But yes, that's it with agriculture. And a quick reminder, the UPP, for young people again, with housing, we remember the rent-to-own
program. Yes.
That is still in place, and look out for how the UPP intends for youth to get lands in this country. But anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. This has been the Progressive Youth Group talking about this rally coming up. It's a pre-commentary show, and I'm Jonathan Wehner.
And this is Chelsea Agarde. We came here tonight to show you that our young people, we have things to say to them. We have problems that we want to address, and yes, we want to ensure that our word gets out there. So we are here on behalf of the United Progressive Party. We're called the Progressive Youth. We have other core members, but we are representing our movement tonight. So we just want to say thank you all for listening. We will be here again sometime in the future. Jonathan?
Vote Anthony Smith the right choice for the reading team. All right, everyone, good night.
All right.
Vote
UPP.
in the next election.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
UPP.
the right choice. We are the right choice. Are the right choice. Vote for the right choice.
My father died when I was just 5 years old. My mother came from Willikie's village. She had 5 young mouths to feed, and she toiled on her sewing machine to make ends meet. She was a strong woman who taught us right from wrong. And even though she struggled, the choices she made put us on the right path. I made the choice to work hard, play by the rules, and get an education. I had a number of opportunities, but I chose to return to Antigua and inspire the next generation. I taught at the Antigua Grammar School, and it's here that I saw firsthand how education transforms lives. I made the choice to get into politics because of the lack of resources that I saw in our schools. I saw how our teachers and families struggled whilst an elite few got ahead. When the people granted us the opportunity to serve in government, we had a lot of work to do. As Minister of Finance, I helped to clean up the rot of 30 years of one-party rule. We saw our country through the global financial crisis and the Stanford collapse. Through all of that, we introduced the school meals program, the school uniform program, and laptops for children. While we were not perfect, no one is perfect but Almighty God. We worked day in and day out to defend the nation and put people first. Today I see too many families struggling for a lack of jobs and the mental stress that comes with it. The cost of living is out of control. And for too many of us, water is still not readily available. And our needed pension checks are not coming on time. While the elite few did well, the ABLP denied you the right to choose what you put in your body. Whilst we believe in vaccines, we don't believe it's the responsibility of government to control your bodies. We will bring an end to all the mandates. This election is about choice, and we believe that we are the right choice because we give you the choice.
It's time to join the family at the People's Cooperative Credit Union Limited. We offer savings accounts, deposits, fixed deposits, loans, among other related services. You can even become a shareholder by purchasing a minimum of 50 shares at $5 per share. Membership is super easy and convenient. Just visit our newly opened credit union building on Upper Newgate Street, Monday to Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. with proof of ID and address, along with $15 to cover registration and passbook. And you'll be set and on your way. For further information, call 462-8888 or 727-2285. People's Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Today, tomorrow, together.